Welcome to Dialogues Q&A, and continuing our funding special, we'll dive straight into more questions. And the expert on board is Ashish Sharma, the managing partner of Innovent Capital. That's Asia's leading venture debt firm with offices in India, China, and Singapore. Moving on to the next question a member has sent us. How can we get strategic funding? And they're looking to expand operations. What are the best
So,
ways to get funding for expanding the operations?
if what it means is instead of going to a classic VC or a seed fund, you're looking to raise money from a corporate or a large player in that space. Uh, Generally, I mean, I do not encourage founders to raise strategic funding very quickly, because in that kind of a situation, your ability to raise from institutional investors and kind of maintain an independent path can get compromised. However, depending on the area you're working in, you could definitely reach out to some of the larger players in that space, the conventional players. I'll give you some examples. Say, for example, I have a portfolio company called Ather, which is a leading two-wheeler EV manufacturer, doing very well. Now, in that kind of a space, Tarun, who's the founder, he raised his, first to second round of capital from Hero MotoCorp. So there was a very clear kind of a focus. Hero MotoCorp is the largest, two-wheeler OEM. They bring in a lot of expertise. They were looking at, players, who are doing some path-breaking research and, R&D with respect to EV. So that was an area of interest, and they decided to invest, and there were obviously a lot of synergies. Similarly, another company comes to mind is Log9, which is into battery space. They've been doing a lot of work around improving the life of batteries, the charging, crashing the charging cycle, etc. And they raised some money from Amar Raja Batteries, which is one of the largest battery manufacturers in India. So again, I mean, if you're working in a space where there are some large traditional players, and you understand that you're working on certain IP or technology that is will be of interest to these some of these strategic players, I mean, you can always go and reach out to the right people and take a small strategic investment where this is more than money. I mean, it can't only be money, it has to be more around how can you leverage their ecosystem, their supply chain, their distribution, etc., to basically progress forward. So that would be the way to go around it.
Okay. The next question is from a member. He has crossed the MVP and POC stages. We raised an angel round and are currently raising our pre-seed round. Could you guide us on how to find the right investors?
I think there are three or four things that are required. And the starting point is doing your homework. So essentially, you need to have a very, kind of crisp and concise funding deck, which should cover three or four aspects. One is about what are you working on, what problems are you solving, number one. Number two, what are some of the insights you've had, which would be interesting for any investor to look at, which may be counterintuitive. The third thing is, why are you the best team to be working on solving the problem that you're working on? I mean, is it some deeper insights or domain, etc., that you bring to the table? So that's the third thing that should clearly come out. The fourth thing is going to be a bit more on traction. I mean, do what is the MVP? What are some of the positive signs that investor can look at a signal to say, hey, if these people had money, this could scale up. Have you been able to build a team around yourself, or is it largely one or two founders that are really focused on the solving the problem? So I think getting a deck ready is a very important part. Second thing around the homework, as I had mentioned earlier, is you knowing which are the kind of investors you want to reach out to. So I see a lot of people just sending, kind of emails which are very general, which you can, investor can see, they don't even have a name. And these have been sent to hundreds of investors without any personalization. My suggestion is focus on quality, not quantity. So do a little bit research on who are the kind of people you're reaching out to, what are their areas of interest, and then try to kind of resonate with what they are working on, what thesis they have, what kind of investments they've done, personalize the email, and be very clear about why are you approaching them. So doing a little bit homework on the kind of investors you want to reach out to. So that would be the second thing. And the third thing, as I said, I think generally warm intros have a much better success rate. So, you should hustle hard to understand, find some connects. I mean, if it's an investor, if they've invested in 25 companies, I mean, can you reach out to a founder where they've already invested? If the investor has worked in a particular organization, do you know somebody credible in that organization who can make the connect? So that would be the other thing to keep in mind. The last thing is, I mean, clearly a lot of investors are also doing, kind of reach out where this is not inbound coming from founders looking to raise capital and to get better hit rate of some analyst from a fund reaching out to you proactively. I think you need to, depending on the space you are in, you need to be visible, whether it be on social media where maybe kind of users or consumers are talking about you. If you happen to be a deep tech or a product company, maybe you are on the forums, which actually analysts are looking at, which are the product hunts, how many stars are you getting. LinkedIn is a good channel. So clearly, I mean, doing your homework well, having a very clear and concise deck which articulates the problem you're solving and why are you the best team to solve that problem and the traction you have, and little bit reaching out in a very focused manner to investors that may be looking at the space you're looking at, and finally finding a warm connect, or if you cannot, being very visible in the forums or websites or spaces where some analyst could find you interesting and do outreach to you. So those would be a few things I would keep in mind.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ashish. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you for answering the queries of our members.
Thanks, Pushra.